As soon as I had a place to stay, to live, I thought that I should be doing something else. And there were two girls that live above me, the Tiefenbachers, Wendy and Lynn Tiefenbacher. And they ran some kind of community workshop on 6th Street. And they asked me if I wanted to learn how to silk screen. By late 1973, I was painting here most of the time. And my door was always open. So one day, this character came in and said hello and started talking to me and told me that he was coming to see a girl upstairs. He wasn't the Tiefenbachers anymore, it was somebody else, some other girls. And that turned out to be Dieter Ramon. So he was the first Ramon that I met. But by then, I was interested in photography and silk screening and painting. So I thought that, okay, maybe I have something to say and there's some things I can do in this area. I think Andy's influence keeps going and going and going. I think Andy, just like any other classic artist, he's the classic of our times. He totally told the story of what makes us tick and what makes us want things and be victims of, consumer society. Consumerism and the media are two themes that Warhol mastered and showed us, where we exist, in relation to this concept. I always liked him. I always liked his work. I always felt that on my own pop antics, I was always at least 10 years behind him. But I thought, okay, better late than never. I think that their art provoked or got out of me, inspired me. But then again, there is a very strong element in the Ramones' iconography, which did exist, I guess. It was rounded, or came to completion, to 100% completion because of the Ramones, but the eagle thing. I was into the eagle thing. They say that it takes an outsider to come to assimilate or comprehend or take a fresh look at certain concepts. From the very beginning, after Didi, Tommy came to check me out and report to Johnny. And Tommy's report was, he's good for us. He has an Andy Warhol-like sensibility, but he's a real rock and roll fan too. He's okay. That was Tommy talking to Johnny. And then after that, nobody checked on me except Johnny. But the very first time they played CBGB's, Tommy needed help with setting his drums up. So that was the first thing I did. That's the way it turned out to be. Somebody had to do something, and then it was me. Okay, we need let's make some flyers. All right, so Arturo can do that. Let's put an ad in the Village Voice. Okay, so Arturo can do that. And the first time that somebody important was going to come to CBGB's to see them, I said, let's do something about the lights. So I became like the lighting director because somebody had to do something. You know what I mean? And so that's how it was. The very first time, for instance, that when we printed T-shirts was because we were going to the West Coast and the record company didn't want to pay for my expenses or anything. So we thought, oh, I know how to silkscreen. Why don't I make some T-shirts? We had as many as 700 T-shirts here at once. That's what makes a movement, really. There has to be writers, there has to be musicians, and there has to be visual artists involved. Well, it all started in the Mud Club, or it all comes from the Mud Club. All this performance, Mud Club is ground zero of the convergence of clubs and performance, and artists. It all starts there, but it keeps getting bigger and better again. You know what I mean? And it peaks with the Palladium. But then, of course, they bring Keith Haring and Jean-Michel Basquiat, and they make those murals up there. And Keith Haring is having his parties there, and Divine is performing there,